What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football channel, and welcome to another 2020 college football schedule breakdown and record prediction video. Today, I'll be doing the Utah Utes, another Pac-12 team. Haven't done that many Pac-12 teams. I believe this is the fourth one I've done. So the Utes were very good last year, made the Pac-12 championship, but lost to Oregon. This year, the starting quarterback will most likely be transferred Jake Bentley, who came from South Carolina. They were recruited pretty well, and they have a good head coach in Kyle Whittingham. The one problem is they lost so much talent from last year. They lost Jalen Johnson, Zach Moss, Julian Blackmon, Tyler Huntley, Lecky Fotu, and so many more players. That is a serious problem. If they can fill those holes with maybe the recruiting class, they could be good. They already filled in the quarterback hole with Jake Bentley. If they can fill in some of these other holes, they could be seriously good again this year. I think there's going to be some struggles without some of these important players. But now let's get into looking at it. They went 11-3 last year, like I said, very good. They lost to Oregon, of course, in the championship game, in the Pac-12 championship, and their recruiting class was ranked the 29th best in the country, so pretty good. Now into their schedule. Week 1, they played BYU. Now, BYU is an independent, and they are not terrible in my opinion. I think they can be okay. The problem with BYU is they have some tough games on the schedule this year. And at the end of the day, I do think Utah is better than BYU, and Utah is the home team for this game. I think BYU has a chance at it. I feel like because Utah is a better team. There will most definitely be struggles, though, in this game, especially with a lot of new guys coming in. But I think Utah will win. I could see them losing, but just because of the home field advantage, I think they will win. I think that there will be definitely struggles from Jake Bentley in that game, because he hasn't played with Utah yet. I think there's going to be struggles from Utah as a whole, but I do think they will be able to win that game. Week 2, they play Montana State, and they really shouldn't have much of an issue in this game. Like, let's be honest, Montana State isn't really going to put up a challenge against Utah, especially because Utah is the home team, and they should be able to get an easy win here. I think it's good that they got easy games to start off the season. BYU isn't the easiest, but it's still a winnable game. So, Jake Bentley can get into the feel of playing with Utah, and the rest of the new starters can get into the feel of playing with Utah. Week 3, they play at Wyoming, their first road game of the year. Now, Wyoming, I don't think will be terrible this year. I think they can be pretty good. But I really don't expect them to be close to Pac-12 teams, Power 5 teams. I think they can be good against conference opponents. Wyoming can be good against their conference opponents. I just think that they won't be great against teams like Utah, which is why I do think Utah will win this game. Maybe Wyoming can make it closer than some people will expect, but, I just think that Utah without a doubt is the better team, and even though they are on the road, I do think they should be able to get the win in this one. Week 4, they have their first conference game and their first seriously tough game of the season. It's at California. Now, California is a team I think could be very good this year, and there are some other people that believe that as well. Sure, they are losing some talent. They are definitely losing some talent, such as Ashton Davis, but they are getting talent back, and I just think they can be pretty good this year, and I think Utah's going to have some trouble. If they're at home, I think this could be a win for Utah, but on the road, there's going to be trouble in this game. And it's going to be an interesting game, if I'm honest. I think it could go either way. I think that California being the home team, I think that that's going to benefit them in this one, and I really do think that California is the favorite for this game. In my opinion, I think California will most likely win. I think these teams are both pretty good teams, both similarly ranked on paper. I think that because California is at home, they will be able to get the win. Week 5, they have another very tough game. It's at home, but it's against USC. USC is going to be one of the best teams in the Pac-12 this season, most likely. Keaton Slovis was really good last year. I believe he threw 30 touchdown passes. He'll try and build on that this season. And even though USC is losing talent, they are still getting some back, which is why I expect USC to be good. And Utah does have a shot at winning this one because they're the home team, but I feel like USC will be enough. USC will be good enough to win this game. They just have a lot of talent. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a very good wide receiver. Keaton Slovis is a good quarterback. It's a talented team. Without a doubt, Utah could win this game. Like, being the home team, that could seriously affect this game, but I'm going to go with USC at the moment. Week 6, Very, very interesting game. It's at Washington State. Now, Washington State is a team that I'm pretty high on this year. I expect to be pretty good. So this is a very interesting game to me because I think Utah is better than Washington State. Even though I think Washington State will be good, I do think Utah is better, especially at this point in the year when some of their players are figuring out more, getting back into the game or even maybe getting into the field of college football for the first time. I think that most of their players will be pretty good at this point. So Utah, I think, can win this game, but it is at home for Washington State. I think Washington State will be pretty good at home this season. It's pretty good for them because a lot of Washington State's toughest games, I do believe, are at home. This is an interesting one for Utah. But I am actually going to go with Washington State here because Utah is coming off two very tough games, and then they have to go on the road to play another tough game. I just think it's going to be too much for them. They could win. They could win this one, but I just think that it's going to be too much. I don't think they're going to win. Week 7, they go back home to play Washington. Washington is similar to Washington State, both very good teams, but losing some talent. But I feel that because Utah's at home, I feel like they will be able to get the better of Washington in this one. Washington might be able to put up a good fight, but I think that Utah, at the end of the day, is the better team and will be able to get the win. Then they have their bye week, pretty well placed bye. Maybe you would want it in between those California, USC, and Washington State games, maybe somewhere in between there. But it still's an okay place by coming off the California, USC, Washington State, and then Washington. So it's an okay place by. I think it could be better, but I think it will be fine. Week 9, they have a pretty easy game. It's on the road, but it's at UCLA. UCLA is a team I don't expect to be great this year. I mean, they haven't been that great in the past, and then they're just losing talent. They lost talent this year, so I don't expect them to be great this year. Maybe they can move the ball a bit on Utah because they're the home team, but I just think that Jake Bentley will have it figured out at this point in the year, and I think that Utah will be able to win this game. Week 10, they play Arizona. Arizona's a team that I expect to be just about average this year, probably around 6-6 in my opinion. Nothing special, nothing terrible either though. But Utah's the home team in this one, and I just think that they will win. Utah is just a very good team. I think they're better than Arizona, and because they're at home, I think they will win. Week 11, they play Oregon State at home. Oregon State, I don't think they're going to be that great this year, if I'm honest. Utah's the home team, and I really don't see them having too much of an issue in this game. It's later in the year. Maybe if it was earlier in the year, Oregon State would give a better challenge, but just because it's later in the year, I really do not see it being a challenge whatsoever, and I do think that Utah will be able to win this game fairly easily. Week 12 is a tough one. It's at Arizona State. Arizona State, in my opinion, will be very good this year, probably around 9-3 in my opinion. So this is going to be a tough one for Utah. If they're at home, I think I would go with Utah, but it's at Arizona State, which really changes things up. Arizona State can win games in Sun Devil Stadium. Like last year, they were able to beat Oregon there. They can beat these top teams there, and they're probably going to improve this season, even though they are losing Benjamin, who was a very good running back for them. So I do think that Arizona State will be good this season, and I do think that they will be able to win this game. I just feel like it's going to be too much being at home or being on the road for Utah. I think it's going to be too much. I think Arizona State will win. Like I said, Arizona State is losing. Arizona State is also losing Brandon Ayuk, their wide receiver, and Benjamin. But I expect them to make up for those holes and be able to be good this season, and I think Arizona State will win this one. And then week 13, they have a pretty easy game. It's against Colorado. Colorado, I think similarly to UCLA and Oregon State, I don't think will be great this year. Maybe because Colorado's at home, they can do a little bit better than some people would expect, but it should be Utah in this game. Now, as I always do, I'll go through each game once again, and I'll give my prediction for who I think will win. I think it will be BYU. It might be tough, but I think they'll win. I think they'll beat Montana State pretty easily, and I think it will be Wyoming, but then I think they're going to go on a 3-game losing streak. I think California's going to be tough. I think USC is going to be tough, especially coming off a game against California, and then Washington State on the road is going to be coming off. It's going to be tough, coming off USC and California. I just don't see them winning those 3 games. They could definitely win 1 or even 2 of them. I just don't think they'll win all 3, and I actually have them losing all 3. I think they'll beat Washington, then they have their bye. I think they'll beat UCLA, Arizona at Oregon State pretty easily. But then I think they'll lose to Arizona State. If they're at home, I think they can win that game. But just being on the road, I think it'll be too much. I'm going to take Arizona State. And then week 13, they have Colorado. I think they will win that game to give them a record of 8-4 on the year. They could definitely do better than this, in my opinion. I feel like their toughest games are kind of not well placed, Arizona State being on the road, that's going to be tough. And then 3 tough games in a row. I just don't think they'll be able to win those games. I think they will lose. I think Jake Bentley can be pretty good, if I'm honest, but I just feel like Utah is losing too much talent to be a great team once again. So, like I said, I do have them at 8-4. So these are my thoughts on the Utah Utes for the season. What are your guys' thoughts? Tell me in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to leave a like and if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe for more daily NFL and college football content. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.